You're listening to The Practice of a Hoodoo Baptist, my personal journey of root work, faith, and ancestral wisdom. This is where I honor the ones who came before me, share what's been passed down, and walk you through my experiences of being unapologetically aligned, covered by spirit, guided by blood. Today, we're going to talk about forgiveness, y'all. Yes, we're also going to talk about boundaries, and we're going to touch on spiritual maturity. Now, this episode, I'll do my best not to get all extra deep. I'll just keep it simple, keep it all the way real. I think it's really important to have an entire episode about spiritual maturity, boundaries, and forgiveness, because I understand that when people see or have any interest in hoodoo, root work, African traditional religions, espiritismo, like when people are just naturally drawn to some certain things and they may look at like the aesthetic of it or how it looks. Yeah, I don't think people take into consideration like the level of how serious this is and the level of maturity that this requires. So yeah, I think this is necessary to talk about this. Now, let me set the tone. Forgiveness is sacred, but it's not a one size fits all situation. I think when we're talking about forgiveness, it's super important to understand that is mandatory when it comes to growth, especially within this space. I also think that it's good to forgive. It's powerful to forgive. When I was little, or just, I guess just much younger, even as a teenager, when I would hear an elder say, you forgive people for you. You don't forgive them for them. You forgive for you. And when I was little, I used to be like, what kind of shit is that? It doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't get it. But that's just what I thought when I was younger, However, now it's clear to me, like, I get it, like, because it is true. I understand. Yes, that is true. The forgiveness, it's for your growth. It's for your spirit, your peace, and your peace means a lot. And I also think, forgiveness it's love too, may not totally be just about love for that other person, but love for yourself. Because I think when we don't forgive, we're holding on to things and just harming ourselves, right? I'm also going to talk about boundaries. I love a boundary. I love a boundary. Boundaries are protection, not punishment. Okay? Because some people be acting like just because you set a boundary that you're trying to punish them. It's like, child, no, like, that boundary, that's also for me, not for you. That's for me, for my peace and my protection. Okay. And maturity in your spiritual practice shows up in how you move after something happens, after you have a situation with someone, or after you say your prayers, after your rituals are over. Yeah, like how you move and the things that you do and the choices, the decisions that you make, it just shows up. So this episode is about the part of the work that doesn't get posted or glamorized, for real, for real. So I'm going to go there because, again, I think everybody just thinks this is about like the aesthetics, the looks, the money, the glamour. Like, so this episode, we're going to tap into some other shit. Okay. We're going to talk about knowing when to let go, knowing when to walk away, and knowing that healing doesn't always mean reconnecting. Okay. You have to let motherfuckers go. And you have to let them go. Say it with me now. Let them go for you, not necessarily just for them. Okay. I'm going to dive a little bit too, because as far as forgiveness, I think forgiveness can be used as a spiritual strategy. Let me explain. It doesn't always mean like reconnecting with the person. It doesn't always mean leave that door open, for real, for real. Sometimes it actually means clearing space, and that space can be for your peace. It could be for your comfort. Hey, you deserve peace. Do you not? Do you not think you deserve peace? We deserve peace. We deserve all the peace, as much peace as we can get, especially today. Okay. You know what I'm good for? I'm good for forgiving a person and never speaking to them again. Forgiving someone and no longer like holding space for them in the way that I did before, you know. And I think that's perfectly healthy, especially when I actually feel better about it, or I feel a sense of maturity or growth, or there's no more confusion, there's no more like negative feelings about the situation or the person. It's just like it's just cleared out. And to me, like, that's magic. When you just make a decision, you're so solid about your decision, and the smoke just, it's like the fog just clears out. Okay. You can release the emotional charge without inviting the energy back in, because I think we be so attached to people sometimes, when people do things to us, and we get triggered by that trauma. And some of us like trauma subconsciously and attach ourselves to it, and, are really into being in love with our abusers or just abuse, and, just treat it like it's a regular thing, like subconsciously thinking that you deserve that. Like, no. So you can release the emotional charge without inviting that energy back in. It's about unhooking yourself spiritually so you can move on. Okay. And I think a great way to do that is to set boundaries. Because let me tell you how I treat boundaries. Y'all ready for this shit? For me, boundaries are a form of protection work. Let me tell you something. You know what my favorite word when it comes to boundaries, my favorite word to use, my favorite root work, my favorite spell word to use when it comes to setting boundaries? Y'all ready for this shit? No, that's the word. That's the spell right there. No. N-O. No is a form of spell work. Stay with me now. No helps set a boundary and a bar. No, because saying no when you always said yes, that no gonna help you level up for real. Okay. Because you're holding space for yourself, and it's okay to hold space for others, y'all. Like if you're being treated good, you're not being abused in no type of way, you're not being taken advantage of, you feel good about holding that space, like it's okay. Holding space for yourself is as sacred as holding space for others. It truly is. And I think we have to really think about why are we not holding space for ourselves when we should be? So that might be some good like introspection for real. So if that's the issue with you, if that's the case, definitely think about that. Like, am I holding space for myself the same way that I hold space for others? Do I not look at that as like, no, a healthy balance? Like, yeah, might have to look into that, because you're worth it, right? Your time, energy, body, and spirit, all of that, everything, it deserves to be guarded. Okay. And it's okay to guard yourself. I like to learn from the elders when it comes to shit like that, because the elders and the ancestors, elders don't be keeping everybody like super close to them. They be watching, they be observing. You know what I'm saying? It's like, nah, like, okay. And that's something that I peeped even from being a kid. If my grandmothers didn't like somebody, then I'd just be like, you ain't gonna make it because Nana don't fuck with you. And it's okay to ask. For me, I had to say, sometimes, like, nah, we can't have this person around. So mamas be knowing, like, like that person ain't your friend, because they just be watching. It's just like that discernment, right? Yeah. So it's like, it's okay to not have everybody all super close and just so making yourself so accessible. So work on boundaries if that's an issue for you. And I think also, like, so many people want to, again, have so much interest in the practice and traditions. And I think everything is just always focused on like spell work. And, just the buying this, buying that, putting this together, putting that together, mixing, and the root work. Like, it's just so much focus on that. There's never really, not never, but I just want to present what I don't see often, especially in the digital space and online space. So I think that's why it's just so important to have these conversations, or just to, kind of peep game, because I think that's something that is just not touched on a lot, as far as people having an understanding of what are other types of like root work or protection work. But again, like I said, boundaries, huge, because you got to have spiritual maturity. So, but what does spiritual maturity look like? Not reacting to everything that pokes at your peace. Now, I'm gonna keep it real. I have issues. I'm working on my shit because the way I grew up, I'm from Mobile, Alabama, grew up in the hood, and yeah, people were very like reactive around me and, just taught to like react and just be observant, but react. So I'm doing a lot of work reversing that, so it won't be, everything is not always an attack. So yeah, that's something that I've also have had to work on and still working on it. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like that's just something that I might have had to deal with for a while, even when I was a kid. Just, somebody do something to me and I have to do something back to them, So, hey, doing the work. So, yeah, spiritual maturity. So, we're talking about not reacting to everything that pokes at your peace, like I said. Next, knowing when to speak and when to let silence do the work. Whew, biggie. Big bitch. That's a big bitch right there. Yeah, because I think that's kind of goes in line with not reacting, right? So yeah, knowing when to speak up, knowing when to use your voice and when to let the silence just do the speaking for you. Like it'll just do the work. And yeah, I dig that 110%. I think that's something that's all that has been taught to me through my family. I come from a long lineage of hoodoo practitioners and just believers, praying people. So yeah, definitely have folks in my family where it's like in public, in certain spaces, they don't speak a lot. It doesn't mean that they don't speak up, but they just may not speak a lot and they just like to sit and watch and just be observant. And sometimes, I've witnessed them where, yeah, like it's like some things don't need to be said. Like, look at my actions. If I did something or if I did do anything, So next one, we'll say, it also looks like doing the ritual and the self-reflection, tapping into like, what you might need to work on, who you are, self-reflection, like also doing the root work, also doing like the rituals, no matter what it is, but just always taking a moment to self-reflect. And another one I would say is knowing you don't need revenge when you're covered. That's another big girl. I'll say it again. Knowing you don't need revenge when you're covered, meaning like you don't have to get back at people. I also online see a lot of folks like wanting to do spell work to do negative things to people. I just have never felt pulled towards behaving that way, or I just never wanted to do anything dark with my magic, with my power, with my gift. Just never. To me, it doesn't seem worth it. I don't want shit to come back to me tenfold. I don't want shit to come up later when I'm in that ancestral realm, my next life, after like I just I don't want to hear it. Like, no, I don't want that on me. So I'm not even thinking like that. And I truly believe like I'm good, like I'm covered. I don't need to get back at a person. Now I'm all about defending myself though. You know what I'm saying? Like I speak up, I use my voice, I'm brave. I know I am. I love that about myself, that I'm brave to use my voice, to speak up for others. And no, I don't need to get revenge. Let's just get the paper, okay? Like Queen Bee say, best revenge is your paper. Get your paper. You really don't need to do nothing else because you're covered. Know that shit, own that shit, walk like it, talk like it, be that, okay? And maybe like if you're like me, you're healing through anger issues, healing through childhood trauma, healing through, being a Black girl, always reacting to everybody because everybody's just coming at you sideways. Like, I get it. Like, we healing through it. It's okay. You can do this. You know what you could do? For anyone out there that just wants to like work on that and create like a ritual or a practice for themselves, try this. Try lighting a candle. It could be like a tea light or a regular candle. It doesn't matter. Try lighting a candle. Do a quick cleanse if you have some Florida water, a little spray, you have an anointing oil, um, that's good. Some lang lang, essential oil like a lavender. Or just anoint yourself. Just anoint yourself. Write a prayer. And then speak out loud what you write. Okay? And try doing that. Do that for 5 days straight. And when you reach the 5 days, do the 7 days, do a full week. And keep doing that. And maybe just do it after you've created a habit. And even if it's not about like creating something, I mean, like I'm all for like positive habits. So anytime you feel a moment where you're like stressed, or you might feel like you're getting back into like some old ways, or you feel angry about something, like you trying to get even on some shit or revenge, like practice that, do that, light you a candle, do a little cleanse, smoke, get some Palo Santo, get you some red dragon sage, or, and just do a little smokiness cleanse, spray a little Florida water if you have some. If you're into making your own cleanses, I'm sure if you already have that, then you're just, spraying. But I'm just saying, like, write down a prayer and repeat that prayer and just have it on you whenever you need it, Because still understand, healing takes consistency. That's why I said, like, shoot for, a couple of days of doing that once a day, 5 days, 7 days, twice a day, whatever makes sense. Like, just tap in, because consistency definitely requirement within the tradition. Consistency, major. I definitely will say that I've let go of a few friendships. I would say that I have walked away from like a group or two, like a friend group or a group chat, like just walked away out of it. And at first, some things just sting, and, you miss people, and you may not be involved in all the things anymore. You may not, get invited to this and that. It's just that shift, right? So sometimes, it stings. However, for me, the peace that I felt it was just so clear. It felt like a weight had been lifted off, and it wasn't out of bitterness, or even being petty. Like, it wasn't out of anything like that. But yeah, it's like, I remember it was just kind of, for me, it's like a ripple effect. Like, stop being friends with one person, then stop being friends with this other person that's connected to that person, or just, didn't. In that overall, I just decided to just, I forgive you, but I don't want to be friends with you in the capacity that we were friends before. Matter of fact, I don't want to be friends at all. But I love you, I respect you, and we had a great time. We had some good times. Girl, we had some good times. And I cherish that. And that's it. Take care, And just time, going by, and it's like, yeah, this feels, I like this over here. Yeah, because spirit definitely showed me that I had leveled up when it came to like my spiritual maturity, because I wasn't afraid of being by myself. I'm also an only child. I'm definitely a solo artiste at heart. I'm super comfortable being alone. I find peace in solitude. And sometimes that scares people. Some people think it's weird. But to me, I'm like, how could you not be cool with being by yourself? So yeah, it was just like, this level of independence in a way that I haven't felt, or maybe I felt around like when I was like in high school, like that new independence you just have. And it's like, yo, like, this is okay. Like, I like this. This is awesome. So yeah, I'm like, I'm okay. Spirit showed up like, you're okay. Everything's good. And yeah, on the other side, it was just a lot of peace. No nonsense, no confusion, no noise. Man, yeah, because when you have this friend over here that got this problem with this nigga, this friend over here that got this problem with this other woman, and this friend over here that is just all over the place and disorganized and, horrible with money or horrible with other people, and then a mean girl. And it's just like, no, I can't, And it was just such a shift too, like a conscious shift for me. It just felt like another level up, because how the things that I talk about are different. The books that I read are different. The conversations that I'm having are different and just feel it's more fulfilling. And, I'm just, ooh, I should have mentioned this. When I decided to be sober, that was huge when it came to my friend groups and my personal circles. When I decided to be sober, overall people are like, oh, okay, cool, happy for you, blah, blah. But I think as time went by, I've stuck with it, and I'm not smoking weed and I'm not drinking alcohol. It's just like, okay, there's respect there, but there's always that little like, oh, okay, you really doing this. It's like, yeah. And then when I reached that moment where it was just straight up clarity and my thoughts were just more leveled and firm, and my decisions were solid, and I wasn't wishy-washy. And yeah, so it just, to me, it seemed like because I decided to be sober, I just saw through so much bullshit that just wasn't like cute anymore. It wasn't fun anymore. Certain people weren't fun anymore. Certain people were just not as like creative to me anymore. Yeah. And it's just my taste for everything. People, clothes, food, everything just changed. I wasn't attracted to the same kind of dude that I usually would be attracted to. Yeah, I was just kind of more open to even like talking to different, types of people. And I actually fell in love with it. I'm still sober. I'll be 4 years sober this fall. Yeah, and I'm gonna keep going. And it's interesting, like more people are learning that I don't drink, like because I go out. I never felt pressure to drink ever or to do drugs. I always made people feel a little bit bad if they offered me drugs. I remember one time, I live in Los Angeles. I remember one time I was at some house party. And somebody offered me some cocaine. I was like, oh no, thank you. I love myself. But you enjoy. You're like, oh, who is this? Yeah, child, I will hurt your feelings. Fuck around, try to offer me some drugs. Anyway, yeah, but I'm so happy though. I'm truly happy. I am on I'm on a high, and the high is a sober high, but the high is just, it just feels like I'm just getting started with my growth. And because I'm a baby. I'm still a baby. In my mid-30s. I'm still a baby, okay? And yeah, it just feels like I'm just steady with my growth and my interests, decisions I'm making. Like I'm just getting there, getting there, getting there, getting there. And I feel good about it. I feel good about my pace, and I feel good about the small circle that I do have now, and the new people that are also coming into my life too. I feel like, the people who come into my life is, I'm conscious about them, like who I let in. I know some people have this whole hierarchy of friends type of thing. I think I'm really not into that. I think for me now, I'm just like, you in my life or you out? You in my circle or you not? You know what I'm saying? So, and to me, that's peace. Yeah. But I'm so excited too about new folks because now I'm clear. Now I see different. I see myself different. I see others different. And I love that shit. And I know that's all I have to give all the credit to the spiritual maturity, prayer, God, my ancestors, angels, guides, like that strength. I thank them. Thank y'all. All of y'all, thank them for that, for sure. But listen, if you're in a place where you're wrestling with letting go, let me just tell you right now, you are not weak. You are not weak. You are growing. Let yourself grow. Don't feel bad about growing. It's okay. It's beautiful over here. Trust me. And I think growth may not always feel good. Like sometimes it is painful. Sometimes it's uncomfortable. Sometimes it's itchy or whatever. But I think growth is beautiful. So don't let anybody rush you into forgiveness, or don't nobody try to pressure you into overexposing yourself. Okay. Let spirit guide your boundaries. Let discernment lead your love. Whew. I wasn't too harsh, was I? I don't think so. I don't know why I thought it was gonna be a little rough, because it could be a little bit of a touchy subject for some folks. Because I think forgiveness sometimes, it could be really hard, especially where you're like, damn, like, am I at that point? Are we here now where I need to just let a motherfucker go? Am I here now where I need to just forgive and let go myself, let go of those thoughts, let go of that trauma, let go of that situation, this person? You might be right there. Because guess what? If you're right there, you never know what's on the other side. On that other side, though, on the other side of that situation, that peace, it's peace on that other side. It's quiet on the other side. It's more opportunities on the other side. It's better friends on the other side. It could be a love connection on the other side. Like, it could be so many things. So that's why I'm like, we got to be doing this work, especially if we're going to be in this practice, especially if we're going to carry on our ancestral wisdom, to be able to receive that ancestral wisdom. You can't receive your ancestral wisdom if you hang with a bunch of YNs. So again, in closing, don't let nobody rush you. Take your time. Let spirit guide your boundaries. Let discernment lead your love. You've been listening to The Practice of a Hoodoo Baptist. This is my altar, my process, my truth. This is what I speak, what was once kept in silence. Covered by spirit, guided by blood. Until next time.